I looked up. Holy moly, that's Jesus. I'm 66 years old, and I had my near-death experience when I was 32. I was raised a Catholic, and in a happy family, and I questioned the whole God thing. And by the time I was 18, I pretty much said I was an atheist. So here I am reading this book. Now I'm suicidal many years later, and I'm reading this book, Autogenic Death, Autogenic Training. I'll will myself to die and nobody will know I had committed suicide. And it'll be painless, and it'll be all over. And all of a sudden, it was like 1,000 flashlights had suddenly come into the room. Not flashlights, what do they call those? Floodlights. Everything was illuminated and crystal clear. But I felt like I was in a warm bath of love. Pure, unconditional love. And it was warm, it was welcoming. All my worries, all my fears, all my stress were gone. It was pure bliss. I said, oh my God, this is love. And I turned to my side and I see white robes standing next to my bed. And then I looked up. Holy moly, that's Jesus. And he was looking at me with intense blue eyes that I've never seen anybody with with those blue eyes. And he said to me one sentence, and that was, but he didn't move his lips. I heard his voice, male's voice, in my head, or wherever I just heard it. Don't waste your life thinking you're not loved. And when he said the word your life, I felt this. It was palpable how precious my life was. And not just how precious my life was, but how precious everybody's life was, including that kid in Africa. And that answered my doubting about the whole religious thing, or that there was a God in the future. So I took that sentence, that one precious sentence he gave me, and I took it apart. I pulled it apart. Okay, so there's a life to be wasted. So that meant we, everyone has a purpose of some kind, has a mission. It's a precious reason for being here. I did meet the love of my life after I divorced my Austrian husband, and he was everything. A year ago, and he died. He passed away due to a brain cancer. But before that, when he was admitted to the hospital, before going into hospice, they said, he's on his way out. And so the next morning, he's sitting up in the bed and he's smiling, and he's going like this across the hospital ceiling. And I said, "Oh, is everything all right?" And he goes, he had a hard time. He had a hard time talking, so it was monosyllabic, and it took a while to get all of this out. But occasionally there would be blurts of sentences, and I figured out what he was saying. He said, "Can you do something about that?" And I said, "What, you mean the lights?" He said, "No. The curtains? You want me to pull the curtain?" "No. That." And he went the whole thing. He said, "You can't see that?" And I knew then that he was having a vision. And I said, "So that, tell me what you see." "You don't see it? It's real. It's real." I said, "Honey, I know it's real, but it's meant for you to see." And he started crying. And I said, "So what do you see?" And he kept asking, it's real, don't you see it? You know, he said that at least 20 times. And I said, so what do you see? He said, white feathers, people, white music. And I said, angels? Yeah, angels. They singing? No. Music. They playing musical instruments? Yes. Are they saying anything to you? Do they want you to come over and visit them or go over there? And they said, no. And I kind of knew then we had a little bit more time. And I said, does he see anything else? And he said, mountains. A whole range of mountains. And I knew that's a spiritual home. So I got him home. We went to, he was in home hospice, and he was still fighting it and still fighting it. And when it was clear he was going to pass, he was looking up again. And I knew I said, are you seeing your mountains again? He said, yes. I said, do you think God is calling you home? He said, yes. I said, do you want to go home? And he said, yes. And an hour later, he went into coma. He never revived. So the next day, he was gone. But I told him he was okay. That's what the near-death experience was like. You woke up out of this life. And that's more real than reality. That shows how real it is. You don't have those kind of profound effects on your life if it's just a dream you had or just a hallucination. In fact, sometimes when people say, oh, it was just the chemistry of your brain, or it was just lack of oxygen, or as soon as you hear the word just, everything after that seems invalidated. So it's not just anything. This thing flips your world.